Hey, hi everyone. I'm going to turn a little just so sister has joined me, so I want to be able to make sure we can see each other. Um, let's take three deep breaths and begin our session. We're running a little late today because I wasn't sure who all are joining in at what time. Today we're going to do the continuation of our Dash Mahavidyas. This is lesson number 2. Okay, so I hope you're all sitting comfortably. We're going to do 3 ohms. Om. 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 Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. I offer my humble prayers to Lord Ganesha, inviting him, as he is the one we propitiate when we initiate any work, any puja, anything that we want to start with abundance, with clarity, with lots of blessings. We always call Sri Ganesha first. I did a prayer right now to invite him. So, welcome everyone. Today we're going to talk. Actually, as I was doing our ohms, it reminded me that I wanted to share something. Do you ever wonder why we do an ohm and why do we do it 3 times? Om is the primordial sound. It actually helps align our frequency in our body. Because if you think about it, there's lots of noises and distractions going on. And sometimes you'll also feel like, oh, you're a little nervous, anxious, or just like sleepy. Any of your states of being, if you want them to come into alignment, you chant the sound of Om. It's a vibrating frequency like a dampener on anything that's going haywire. It brings it into alignment. And why do we say it 3 times? We say it 3 times so that we are asking for our body to come in alignment. So let's calm down. That does not be fidgety. For our mind to come in alignment, which is one of the toughest. It's our monkey mind with so many thoughts going on everywhere. And we want to bring it back into focus. And the third is we align with our soul. So when you say Om 3 times, you're saying, may I come into peace into my body, into my mind, into my soul. And so that's how we begin. So anytime you hear somewhere the chanting of Om being done, try and remember what's doing and notice how your body feels when you say it, when you chant it. Um, don't be hesitant to say it because, again, it's a vibration. So it's not just the word. It's not like I'm saying hello or I'm saying, youth or God or a word that you know a meaning of. It's a sound. So it emanates from somewhere. You are a vessel holding this vibrating. Your voice box is here. So you let the sound emanate from your lips into your throat, into your mind. Okay. It literally makes the swirl of an Om, if you can visualize that in your upper body. There are deeper sounds when you do pranayam. We'll go into that in another lesson. But you have that come from the belly, from down below. You have 3 breaths that go from here to your chest to your upper sound. And so there's different prans, different breath works that people do. So I thought I'd share that with you because we were saying that. Now let's go to our assignment. Today we were talking about Dashma Mahavidyas last week. We covered 3 of them. So on your spiritual journey, as you go from the gross matter, which is Ma Kamalatmika, at the base of our spine. We're slowly ascending and trying to understand the energies, the Shaktis that are aligned with our different chakras. So I'm going to do a quick recap so you all remember. And let's start by chanting the Devi mantram. Namo Devi Mahavidye Namami Charanau Tava Sada Dhyana Prakasham Me Devi Sarvatha Deshive. So the Dash Mahavidyas, if you recall, we started with the bottom one, Kamalatmika, and we're ascending. Normally, when light and energy descends on us, it comes from the heavens, where you see up here Ma Kali, Ma Tara, and Ma Shodashi, who reside in the cosmos, are different energies that coalesce into what the universal consciousness is. Okay? So those energies descend down, and then within our human body, they go from the top down. We started our journey so that we could see and understand from the gross. So the lower Devis, Ma Kamlatmika, Ma Matangi, Ma Baglamukhi, these are our lower chakras. These are our grounding chakras. They ground you into this human body, this body of Avni, who's a female, who's here. Her birthing, her existence in this lifetime is marked by these Devis. Okay, so if you remember, the first one we did was Ma Kamlatmika. And Ma Kamlatmika is, she's the Muladhara chakra. The color we said was red. She is a form of Lakshmi. It is Mahalakshmi that is actually residing in your base chakra. Okay, and we talked about her, and there was so much information, but those are the basic essence. She grounds you to the earth, to what our duties are down here, and she helps you overcome things like she grants people to pray to her for those who can't bear children. They pray to her with if you are stricken and have issues with finances, with business, okay? That feeling of like, I don't have enough. Why is it? That all ties into Ma Kamlatmika. Untimely death. When somebody has been unfortunately gone, we pray to Ma Kamlatmika because that ended their lifetime so early. We all come with a purpose and a whole lifetime to live. So when it ends early, that also has been chosen, but we pray to her for understanding and solace. Okay. Then we had gone on to Ma Matangi, who resides in the Swadhisthana chakra. And at another point, I'm going to talk to you about Kundalini and explain the chakras in detail. But the question arises, why are these Devis, these Dash Mahavidyas tied to these chakras? Well, the chakra is just, the word chakra means a wheel, but these are vortexes of energy, and energy's form is Devi. Shakti itself is Devi. So that energy has to reside. Just imagine if I was describing something like the sun, you know that there is energy in that sun. Even if you're blind and I start explaining to you, you can understand what that energy is. And so we have a name, and its essence has to be a Devi. Okay. So the Swadhisthana, which was right below the navel, we said, it is emblem is the element, is water, and the presiding deity is Ma Matangi. Now, Ma Matangi has a green color. She's known to be the green goddess. So a lot of these goddesses, their knowledge has been transferred to many different religions. Buddhism has some of it. As you go towards the eastern areas, you will find evidences of Matara, Ma Matangi. These devis and goddesses, they have their own depictions done in those cultures. But this knowledge is so deep and so essential to us being human beings It has permeated and gone across the world. And so you'll see that. So it's not just resident in our Shaktism culture in India. So Mama Tangi rules this. She's known, I'm not going to go into too much. Again, it comes because our sexual organs are there, people who can't bear children. She's also known to be the goddess of learning, the Saraswati, because all your emotions, your creativity comes from this area. Our ability to engage in this universe, create in our imaginations and make this earth the way we imagine it, it comes from Ma Matangi. She resides in the area of desires, and desires aren't just desires and attractions for another human being. It is desires of all sorts, for beauty, for arts, for culture, for music, for anything that you can imagine that exists in this world. It comes from there. The third one we did was Ma Baglamukhi. Now, Baglamukhi is right here in our solar plexus. Okay. She sits in the seat of power. And the reason we call them solar plexus, or we call them the core of our being when you work out, this is because it truly is your powerhouse. This is a seat where it's the Manipur chakra, and it is known as the city of jewels. Ma Baglamukhi is golden yellow. She is the embodiment of that energy of the sun that gives us courage. She's also in many stories of people, like Sharda Ma had this incident. There are different times in recent times, a couple hundred years ago and so, and less than 100 years ago, where she has shown her form. And from those stories, we understand who is Ma Baglamukhi. She's known to actually help people with court cases. Now, why such a specific example? Yes. You'll see all these Ambanis. I've talked about this. The Ambanis will be doing Ma Baglamukhi prayers and so forth. Why do people pray to Ma Baglamukhi when they're in a jam? Well, she is known as the one who has control over motion. Okay. And in her form, as you see her in this picture here, she has grabbed hold of the demon's tongue. And she is holding a mace in her hand, meaning she will basically demolish and destroy that which is negative, that is causing negativity. She's also sitting on a demon whose corpse is basically laid. And what does that symbolize? That symbolizes that she has control over anything in motion. So for instance, when somebody says something bad, gossip, or we all know about TikTok and all this stuff. So when you have something put out there that's negative about you, the world doesn't know the truth. But if you pray to her, she will establish the truth in such a way that they call it stambha. Stambha means a stopping force, the force so strong that it will stop anything in motion. So any evil words being put, sometimes you're like, I can't fight all the fires. We always say this, once it's on the internet, it's on the internet. What do? We can't fight all these fires. Well, she has the power if it's something detrimental and you have true earnestness to pray because it's for your betterment. She will put it where the effects of that negativity get stopped and do not affect you. That's her power. The power of motion and the power to stop it. She was called by Vishnu when the Devtas were in despair because the demons were causing a lot of problems on earth, and no one, not even Vishnu, could stop them. So he goes to Lord Shiva, and Shiva says, only Ma can stop him, the Shakti. So when Vishnu goes to Shakti, Parvati, she comes in the form of Ma Baglamukhi and puts a stop to evil forces. Like Stambh, इसलिए उनको बोलते हैं Stambh. We call her Stambh force. Now we begin today with one of my favorite Devis who has been besmirched in the literatures or the talks or understanding in our cultures. I want you to look at her picture over here. This is Ma Dhumavati. So where do you think Ma Dhumavati resides? We've gone solar plexus, and where are we now? At the heart chakra, Annahat chakra, which means she is the presiding deity. Yet you don't see her in these glorious colors and adornments. Shakti is raw energy, but what is it about within our heart that Madhumavati symbolizes? She is a widow sitting on a chariot with torn sari, with her third eye. And what is around her? She's not in a crematorium, but she has crows. Crows symbolize, where do crows come? They come in places of death and decay. They're like the ugly birds of our, in the spectrum of all the birds. And so yet she is surrounded by these. So what does that symbolize to you? What it tells you, pay attention. She is sitting on a chariot. Notice her foot is touching the ground. She's reaching for the ground, but she's not quite on the ground. If I go back to some of these other ones, you'll notice the Devis all have one foot on the ground. They are grounded because these Shaktis indicate to you that they are still associated with this gross body, the lower levels. In the heart, you are now rising in your journey to higher planes. You are evolving to understand what is the cosmic, universal light of love out there. What is this intelligence and how am I related to it? You are going internally to yourself and trying to find out, who am I? Our journey always begins with the question, who am I? Am I this body? Am I just Avni sitting here? And I can rattle off all the other things, owns a car, house, has two kids, husband, this, these are all things we think, okay, this defines me. I'm an engineer, I'm a doctor, I'm a this and that. No. Now the journey that really is important goes inward, and it starts in your heart. So Ma Baglamukhi, I'm sorry, Ma Dhumavati, her toes are not quite touching the earth. She is reaching the higher realms for you. So what is she holding in her hand? It's called a soup. I don't know if you all remember from your childhoods, maybe somewhere you would have seen this. In countries, they'll put the wheat or the rice and they chafe it in the soup, meaning they separate the bad from the good. The essence and the coverings are shaved off. What does not suffice for us, that is what Madhumavati is here to show you. She comes, her accumulates, she comes in an area where there's smoke. That's why she's known as Dhumavati. Dhua in Hindi or Sanskrit means smoke. So she's Dhumavati. And what does smoke do? This is your first layer of Maya, which we talk about. Maya is this veil that surrounds us, that makes us see and think that this is real. This is real. This is real. I'm real. This is real. Yet, if you take it down to its essence, it is a form of light. If you break it down to the molecular levels, to the cellular levels, and further. So the dhua or the smoke is the veil she has around us. So she's known as Dhumavati, the one who removes the smoke from you. She clears the confusion of what's right and what's wrong. When you say, am I doing the right action? We get confusion. We get confused. Is this the right thing? Should I apply for this job or not? Should I go on this trip or not? When we have confusion, she's the first step in clearing that confusion. Madhumavati. I already explained to you about the basket she's holding, which is the chafing of the wheat she takes away, and then her chariot, and the last part of her being a widow. So each of the Shaktis has a Shiva. So we always think, because we have been drilled into the male system of thinking that there are three gods only, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are all powerful, from whom this universe is created, sustained, and destroyed. And they have these consorts, these little devis next to them who are considered their wives or consorts. That's Ma Lakshmi, Ma Saraswati, and Ma Parvati or Durga. But in reality, in real fact, if you go into the Devi Sutras and you go into the Rig Vedas and you actually read the Purans, they talk about the origination of the universe. And I've mentioned this in the last class, and I reiterate, the universe was basically a void. And we will come to the Devi that reminds you she is the void. It is in the void that there was something felt like it should be in love with something. It is at this moment that the universe gets a desire, a passion to exist. And what the Devi Sutras say is that that desire, that existence, that energy was Ma touching with her toe. And as she touches with her toe, the universe gets created. She has the power to create or not. It is her that Shiva in the Shiv Puran says, if Shakti did not imbibe me with the power, I would be just Shiv. Meaning I could not create, I could not destroy. She is that fire that comes out at the beginning of time then. So Ma Dhumavati is here to tell you, in Shaktis, we always have a Shiva. There's a Shiva for each of the Shaktis. In Dhumavati, there is no Shiva showing there. There's no Shiv around. She has swallowed him. Hence, she's known as a widow. But widows in our society have been very poorly treated. This is a very male dominated. Now you go into divine energies and you go into the divine feminine, you will see and feel and understand more that inside every man, they are two. There is a male and a female part. There is a Shakti and a Shiva. Each of them has to exist. And I'm giving an example of a man because we always think, well, Shakti is female, so all women have Shakti in them. So let's take the example of a man. Any human born has Shiv Shakti. It is the matters, and you can even physically see that. You will sometimes see a man, you'll say, that guy has no compassion, no sensitivity, no intelligence, is just brute, very much male dominated, chauvinistic. So when you see those qualities, you're describing and you say, okay, well, yes, that's the male part. What are you noticing? He doesn't have the feminine as strongly in him. And so he's unable to do the parts of the feminine. And then you'll find those who are very balanced. You say, oh my God, that's a Renaissance man. Why do we say that? Because he embodies both the compassion and the strength, intelligence and the intuition and the power to move forward with grace in life. A very good, well-balanced. So anyways, now we get back to Ma Dhumavati. So she has swallowed Shiva, hence she's known as a widow. Now, when you look at her, and I talked about the crows, what are they symbolizing? They come where there's decay and destruction. They are the ones that eat through that. You call Ma when you are in deep poverty, when you lack something. In life, sometimes we lack, and I'm not talking about material goods. Sometimes you just feel like there's a lack of joy. You just find that no matter where you are, even in a comedy store, this, that, whatever, you feel like you lack that joy. You pray to Ma Dhumavati to show you how to take away. She absorbs all that lack. Anything you lack, whether it's poverty, whether it's loneliness, whether it's unfulfilled desires, I wish I had, but this has not happened. It's never going to happen. You see that despair? She's the one who actually, the reason she's known as that is she absorbs it. She takes it away from you. And she shows you, she's the one where she represents the void. The void is the area where there's nothing, there's no good or bad, there's no opposites. So she has several names. A couple of the names that people might have heard is she's known as Lakshmi. Jesht. Jesht means elderly. To me, when I think of Ma, this is my favorite Ma because it comes in the form of a grandmother. Now, your mom can only love you. Have you ever seen a mom who comes and says, "Let me teach you how to steal. I only want you to be." No mother ever goes to a child, even if they have done something wrong. "Oh, you set this on fire?" Even then, your mother will still love and protect you, right? Now, your grandmother, she has love even more unconditional than your mother, right? Your mom might teach you limits, behaviors, but your grandmother will show you love. Your grandmother will shower you. And this is Ma Dhumavati. She's so full of love that if you ever feel you call her with your like heartfelt wishes, she will fulfill them. She comes to protect that. And she resides in this Anahat Chakra up here. Jesht is meaning elderly, so she's known as the eldest grandmother. She's also known as Daridra and Niridhi. So Daridra and Niridhi again are negative words. They are basically, Daridra is where you have decay and like nothing, your poverty and stuff. Niridhi is the opposite of lacking riddhi, meaning rules and regulations and things. So the story goes, why is she called Lakshmi? She's actually known as the elder sister of Lakshmi. So when the manthan of the ocean happened and Lakshmi comes out, Vishnu one time, when he goes into his Chaturmas Nidra, which by the way, the last year, all the lessons I started were during the Chaturmas, and I was teaching you all about what happens in the 4 months when Vishnu goes to sleep. In his Nidra, who all come up? Well, the first one who comes up is a Lakshmi because she comes in. Why? During the time where there's monsoons and decay, she comes to take care of the universe. So those parasites and things don't hurt us as they grow. As you know, like I've already gone through the other parts where I tell you about gurus. Then Shiva comes to rule for a month, all his stories. Then comes Ganeshji. Then comes our ancestors. And then we talk about, near the end, we do the Navratri. And that's actually the end. And on the last day, which is the 10th day of the Navratri, we welcome Lakshmi. Lakshmi comes on the darkest day of the year. She is born on the darkest day. That's known as the darkest day. She comes as the youngest sister, and at her coming, Vishnu wakes up and says, "Remove all that is Lakshmi." So take away. So who will do that taking away? Everything is done by Shakti, energy. Lakshmi takes away the decay, the death. She takes away all the negativity to leave Lakshmi, which is abundance of everything. So she is known as the elder sister of Lakshmi. And so you cannot say the negativity. In fact, I remember this one story. I love this story. I believe it was Shankaracharya was asked. He said, Lakshmi came to him, and Lakshmi. They said, "Who is the prettier? Who's really pretty? Tell us our qualities." So he sat there thinking, and he's a very clever philosopher. And he says, "I need you both to walk outside my house and come back in. I need to see you walk." So both Lakshmi and Lakshmi walk and come back. They do their walk. And then he says very cleverly, Shankaracharya says, Lakshmi, you look the most beautiful when I see you approach and come in my house. It is amazing. And then he turns to Lakshmi. He says, Lakshmi Devi, when you leave this house, it's so graceful and beautiful. You look the best when you leave. How wonderful. He appeased both of them. Clever, clever. That is the beauty of having the intelligence to speak sweet words. Okay, so I already told you the story about Lakshmi and Chaturmas, about Vishnuji. Vishnu is also known as the Rajasic quality, which is the passion. So when passion guna goes into Yog Nidra, into sleep, what comes? Something with passion, something that can take care of the universe has to come through. So you can't think of her as this old lady that is a shub, is a widow, should be put in a corner. We should not be worshiping her. Bad things will happen to us. Poverty will come. All this. No, she's not negativity that comes on us. She takes it away. What a gentleness. What a compassion. She is one of my favorite. What are the boons she gives? She gives, this is really key to know. You pray to her for sharp certainty and intelligence. May I have the grace and the intelligence to know what is right and wrong, what path I should choose. She helps you transformation and transcends this world. It is the beginning of your spiritual journey. She is showing you the clarity of where you're headed, so you are not lost in this world. Standing for the truth, she is truly the word truth resides in her. For easy transitions of, okay, so the other thing is when you have terminal diseases, you have lung cancer, you have cancer of some sort, you have other terminal diseases, she comes and helps sustain, and you pray to her for that. And she removes addictions. People with alcoholism, you pray to Ma Dhumavati for guidance, for clarity, for control. There's more stories of her with like Dhumra Lochan. There was a demon who was smoke filled. I'm not going to go into that because I won't be able to get to my other Mahavidyas. Um, the last part is, I will say very quickly, her stotra very clearly defines what she holds, and it gives you information to understand her. Kak dhwaj ratharudha vilambit payodhar शूर्पहस्तिरु साक्षी धृतहस्त paranvita. So what that means is kak means the crows. Yes, kak is the crows. I'm trying to find out where I have it so I don't mess it up. I've lost it, so I will come back to it later to explain. But as I understand, is she is basically Kakadwaja means the flag that's on her chariot is always of the crows. It's to symbolize whatever I've explained already. The Ratharud Vilambit, she rides a chariot that, if you notice, there's no horses or anything pulling it. It is her energy that can move it or not move it. Payodhara. Shurpahasta, Shurp is the thing that I just told you, the sieve that we use, the chafer, that when you put something in, it takes away all that is bad, and you separate the good from the bad. Hastiru Sakshi Dhrita Hasta Varanvita. She's also sitting with a mudra, hand mudra, blessing us to help you understand and to sort through the good and evil. You saw her yantra. Now I come to, now this is like a lot of you will, I hope there's no children on board today, because as we go to the higher Devis, they are fierce. They will make you uncomfortable, and there is a PG-13 rating on this, so you should understand, and then I'll get into it. So this is the depiction of Chinnamasta. Ma Chinnamasta sits in our Vishuddhi chakra, our throat chakra. It is where our beliefs and basically this is the separation between our higher levels and our body. what you will see in this picture is a decapitated woman with two attendants and three streams of blood pouring out of her body. One of the decapitated head is drinking the blood, and then the two other blood streams are going into the mouths of her attendants. She holds and wields, she wears, a garland of skulls, and she is absolutely naked. She stands upon a couple that is in the middle of copulating. So the woman is on top of the man, and she stands on top of them. This is a very fierce depiction. It is deep in a symbolism, and you have to understand what it is that Ma Chinnamasta, that you pray to her for, and what does she symbolize? What energy is she? So Ma Chinnamasta is basically standing on top of Kam and Rati. Kam is the god of love. Rati was his wife. They're in the middle of having intercourse. By her standing on top of him, it is a symbol that, first of all, Shakti is desires and passions, it's energy. So even the energy that grinds, I mean, we call it animal instinct, the animal instinct to procreate, right? That's in our Mooladhara, and it's in our genes, and animals have it. So they know when to procreate, they know when to, the cycle of life. In this depiction, it's showing that she is above that as sexual desires arise, she is the one who is in control of those desires. Okay. So a lot of times we say desire is good, desire for the higher good, for the higher levels. That also she indicates she is in control of. Now, why is her head cut off? Why did she chop off her head? So the story goes, she's walking in a forest, and her attendants are tired and they're hungry. And they say to Ma, there's no food here. There's nothing here. You're supposed to be the Janani of the world. Aren't you going to take care of us? So in her need to satisfy the hunger of even her children, she will chop off her head and give her own blood. So now you're going to be like, oh my gosh, what is that? It is the highest level of sacrifice that she indicates, that one has to, when you are reaching the higher levels and you're trying to understand who am I, you will understand this level of what is self-sacrifice. What are you giving up? What comforts are you giving up? What are you detaching yourself from? And who are you sustaining? So her children, as we look in life around us, we have to think of what is this Ma trying to teach us. Self-sacrifice does not kill you. Do you see her body? She's still standing. She's in a warrior pose, ready to move in action. She is moving. She has control over all sexual and lower animal instincts. Yet she's not dead. Self-sacrifice is one of the highest principles one can imbibe. What are these three streams of blood? So she is feeding her children and she's feeding herself. So in yogic tantra or yoga, if you go to any yoga studio, they will explain to you very quickly. Now it seems like everybody understands all this. We have 72 nadis, which are channels of energy. Even the Western systems are understanding that. Chinese medicine basically correlates with Indian medicine. These 72,000, there are three main nadis. Nadis means a channel. So you have the Sushumna, which is the main pipe. It is the pipe of truth. It is where energy flows straight to the cosmos. And then you have the Ida and the Pingla. These are part of your breath. So those three streams are supposed to symbolize Ida on the left, Pingla on the right, and the Sushumna in the middle that goes into her head. So she is nourishing and sustaining. It is that Chinnamasta that makes your body alive right now. I am here sitting as Avni because Ma Chinnamasta is alive in me. Do you ever say, oh, Avni, take a breath now? No. Do you ever say, oh, Avni, go to the bathroom? Oh, Avni, digest your food? No. All that is energy working. Ma Chinnamasta is showing it is sustained by Pran. That is the Pran she's doing. So her yantra is shown on the right here. It is a triangle, inside a triangle with two circles above it. There are deep meanings behind that with the lotus around. I'm not going to go into all that. If you feel called to Ma Chinnamasta, explore what they all mean. But that is the form of Devi that one meditates and worships, of Ma Chinnamasta. She also comes to teach you that it is Shiv Shakti. Shiva and Shakti are the same. She symbolizes the three gunas. When you see three, not only are the three nadis supposed to symbolize, but those are the three gunas. Rajasic, because one of them, you'll see one of the attendants is actually red. Tamasic, one is black. She's quite dark. You can't quite tell in this picture, but she's dark. She's black. So there's red and there's black, and Devi is white. So this is Rajasic, Tamasic, and Sattvic. Decapitating, and also the Vishuddha, this throat chakra is aligned with our Vak. Vak is speech, is a Sanskrit word for speech. Speech is a little different than sound and word. Okay, so Vak speech says that even in the Rig Veda, it says in the beginning there was a sound, which was Brahman, was a sound, right? That is Vak. So it was known that Brahman, that consciousness is known as Shabd Brahman. She is symbolized to say this is where it originates. It's decapitated because Vak takes us to higher levels. Okay. What is she symbolized by wearing a mala of skulls? It's called a Varanmala. That Varnmala is actually very interesting. So when we talk about Vak and you look at the Shri Yantra, which I showed you guys one time, that's right back there. In there, each one of those triangles is actually a letter of the Sanskrit alphabet. Each one of the heads around her, she wears the Vak Siddhi, and she is the one who gives you the ability. If you're in the role of, let's say, marketing, or you are in somebody who gives a lot of speeches, does a lot of things, Ma Chinnamasta gives you that power, the creativity. She is that part of, as we say, the speech part. To make the sound, to make the hearing. So she is known as the creative. That mala symbolized creativity. It's the creativity of the consciousness. And Vak also, as you'll notice as she opens, as the sound comes out. There's a whole Sanskrit science behind. If you read your Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, you will understand the science behind Vak. The letters, the sounds, where they come from they come from the throat, the mouth, the tongue, the lips, and all that. And so she is the one in control of that. She shows you. Her body being nude, why would we want to display nudity? It shows that she is not of the norms of society, the riti rivaj, as we call it. The nude body shows complete freedom. She is not bound by anything. She is pure truth, the essence of truth with no restraints. She also holds absolute power over all creation. Ma Chinnamasta basically shows you in this depiction, she's pavriti, which means issuing forth. She's nivriti, absorbing. And in that pulsation of absorbing and issuing forth is the pulsation of consciousness. consciousness has a pulsation known as spand in Sanskrit. So she is the spand. She removes all negativity. By cutting off her head, she symbolizes remove your ego. You cannot go to these higher realms. If you have ego, which is beheading, she says, I no longer have the ego. It is Ma Chinnamasta who will allow you to go. You cannot progress. You can meditate, you can be a good person, you can deal with your heart, your lower chakras. But in order to ascend higher, to understand divinity, or if I use the word divinity, a lot of you will say, well, I don't believe in God. Well, then I say, then believe in yourself. If you need to understand who you are at the essence of who you are, you have to understand who Ma Chinnamasta is. This is Ma Chinnamasta. She's also depicted here. Oh, no, sorry. Now I'm in Mahabhairavi. Oh, why did I come to? Oh, I'm going to move you on to the last one, but I'm just going to show you this depiction because now we have just a few minutes left. And I want to cover her very briefly because then I can do the last few in the next session and we'll have covered the 10 Mahavidyas. The next one from your throat is the chakra that is known as the third eye. Agya chakra is in this area. The Agya chakra is your window to your soul, to higher learning, to knowledge, right? And who is the presiding deity? It's Ma Bhairavi. Just hearing that sound, words makes you think, oh my God, that's scary. Bhairavi. What is Bhay? Bhay is fear. Ravi is the one who removes the fear. So Ma Bhairavi, her pictures are very, again, this is why I brought you in this level, is that it is hard for us to imagine when we have seen Devis and Devtas sitting with all their crowns and jewelry and all, to see these naked, sexual, the decay with like blood coming out of their mouth. These Devis have blood coming out of the mouth because they've been drinking the blood. You are like, what is this? Your mind goes crazy trying to understand. How can this be something I worship? But it is your essence. Take that Shakti away from you and say, I am so good. They're not bad. You have to see what are they symbolizing in that raw energy. She's the leader of the 64 yoginis. And I'll go into that later, but she's basically red, fiery, fierce, and the ascendant. On her mastak is the cool moon. So while there's fire igniting, passion, you will say, there's also a cooling of the moon, cooling of the mind. The moon that sits is a symbol of the mind. When the mind is quiet is the only time you will be able to go into your chit, into your higher self, into your higher mind, into connecting to the cosmos. Nowhere, if the mind governs you, you will not be. And how do you do it? You cool your mind. Shiva also wears a chandrama, right? For that reason. So tapas, she is basically the one, she's the Ma Bhairavi is known to, if you don't do tapas, what is Shakti? Tapas means ardor. Didn't the universe exist and come into existence because of this love, this desire, this passion to exist? Same. So tapas and tejas. Tejas means resplendent. It is the brilliance of the suns. She is known to be one who is similar to 10,000 suns blazing. It is a blazing fire. And so when we think of fire, you can think of it in a couple forms. One is fire that consumes and destroys. It is just so powerful. It is all consuming. What does it leave at the end? Just the essence, just the ashes. right? The ashes that Shiva puts all over himself. When fire has consumed everything, when our bodies are gone, what is left? That's what this she reminds you of. Fire also has another property. Without fire, we could not exist. We could not digest this food. There's fire in your belly. The fire that is cool and calming, where it's used for warmth when you need it, for cooking, for survival. So fire has its fierce properties and its cool and calming. And that is Mahabharati. She's that fire element that we know about. Her consort is known as Kal Bhairav. Now, Kal Bhairav is in the Shiv Purans, has been, so you will hear stories. Kal Bhairav is the one who protects and resides at Kashi, Kashi Vishwanath. So Bhairav is there. He is basically, the other word I should say, it's symbolizing both her and her consort, is Kal. Kal also means time. She's the one who is in control of the past, the present, and the future. She is the one who removes bhay, fear. What fear? Fear of a lot of things. So in our daily life, it might be fear of, I don't know, I don't want to get bitten by a snake, or I don't want to fall down. I might not get this job. So lots of fears, right? We're talking about this world. Yogis also have fears. Fear of ego coming in. Fear of, am I seeing this? Am I part of this? Who am I? So many fears, abstract thinking, your intellectual parts, they are fears that are sound that hold us back. She shows you with wisdom and removes those fears. She takes away the biggest fear, which creates your mind from jumping around. The mind has one purpose in life, and it is scared out of its mind, literally, that it will die. So the mind constantly wants to be moving, and that's why it moves, because it has a fear. So how else will you stop this moving mind, that jumping mind? You have to help remove its fear, to calm it down, to say, no, you are not this body. You are not Avni. You will not die. And let it stay calm so you can reach and understand, am I really not Avni? Then who am I? Am I really not this hand? Not this body? Who am I? That is the path that Ma Bhairavi takes you on. She removes those fears. So fears of anything of the unknown. What's going to happen now? A lot of people are in their heads, oh my God, I'm worried. What's going to happen? They do, a lot of people say this. I'm like constantly worried about things. People who have that kind of constant, they need to start focusing on the Agya Chakra and do Ma Bhairavi's puja. She will guide you through. She removes a lot of the fears, unknown, new emotions, our interactions, our relationships. She helps you in that. The fear of loss. I've lost my mom, my dad, my friend. The fear of loss, Ma Bhairavi shows you how to overcome it. So in doing that, you know how often our regular words in our regular time says, time will heal all wounds. She is the power of time. She cleanses all your chakras. She's known as the Chaitanya Agni. And in the fire of tapas, she is known as the 10,000 rising suns. When you look at her here and you're so scared of like, what is this, the snakes and all, I won't have time to explain all that. But understand a beautiful example that every one of us has come across. What does fierceness and this scaredness mean? Read the Gita, read the verses where Arjun prays to Krishna and says, show me your Vishwaroop. I want to see you in your true form. And Vishnu opens himself into his Vishwaroop. And the description is blazing 10,000 suns, the blazing light universes collapsing into his 1,000 and millions of mouths. Mouth, meaning he is absorbing and eating up universes. His form has thousands and thousands of hands and legs and feet and heads. It is such a form that it can overwhelm you. That is Mahabharati. You have now seen, that's how she's described. That's who she is. The boons she gives, the last I will tell you, is to have a beautiful spouse. So a lot of you young ladies, pray to her. She will give you those blessings. For a successful love marriage, for people who have had untimely deaths again, for those in comas or on ventilators, you pray to Ma Bhairavi to allow them to pass with ease. And it's not, you're not asking them to die. That's like the worst thing I could say out of my mouth. Ma Bhairavi is not here to do that. She's here to take that soul and the souls of those who around him or her to understand the passing with ease, the cycle of life, to bring peace in that moment. You never want to see anyone suffer. Ma Bhairavi is the one who comes and brings that love and ease because it comes through understanding. It comes through your wisdom. If we didn't have this, the ability to discern, the power of discernment is given to humans. It is not given to animals. An animal will go and kill for its food. A human will not kill just because he's hungry. He would rather die. He will do things for survival, but not because he has the power to discern. So that is all I can tell you. There's a lot. She's known for wisdom. That's why she carries a book. She sits on those 5 skulls that symbolize the 5 senses. You need to bring them in control and bring them internally before you can go and meditate, because this is now the 3rd chakra. Her mantra, I didn't tell you the other ones' mantras, but hers is Hasaim, Hasakrim, Hasaim. Hasim, Haskrim, Hasaim. These are sound words, Bij mantras of hers. So, and there's a lot out there in Google, so I'll let you all do that. I am going to go ahead and close today's session with 3 ohms. So we can go and just chanting Devi's mantra. 1 second. Guys, sit quietly. Om. 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 Namo Devi Mahavidye, Namami Charno Tava, Sada Dhyana Prakasham Me, Devi Sarvatha Deshive. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.